Good evening and welcome to our webinar on making quality instructional videos. I'm Dr. Karen Alexander, Director of the Curriculum Center for Family and Consumer Sciences and Chair of the Family and Consumer Sciences Education Program at Texas Tech University. We are thrilled to have you join us this evening for our fourth webinar in a series designed to support teachers as they transition to online learning. Our presenter this evening, Mara Driscoll, is the instructional designer at the Curriculum Center, and she will be leading us through this training. Mara, take it away.
If you have your document that you got, your shopping list, if you want to call it that, you might want to jot some notes down because I actually even got some more information today that I crammed into this presentation that did not make it onto your document. Okay, so feel free to do that. But let's get moving. Research, and I know that this is, I don't want to bore you, but I know that there's a percentage of you, we're up to 52 people now, and I would say at least a fourth of you are thinking in your heads right now, okay, yes, I'm going to do a video because my principal told me or my cohort teachers are doing it, but I'm not going to put my face in my video. I'm just going to do like what the Khan Academy does, and I'm going to be a disembodied cursor and a voice. And I would like to discourage you from that, and don't take my word for it. At the bottom of that shopping list that you have, at the very bottom of it is some references, and I'm gonna cut my eyes over, and I apologize for this, it's called an eye flick, to make sure that, that we discuss this a little bit fully, because I really want you to try your best to put your face into your videos. Your students want to see you, and this is researched and it's proven. So I'm going to cut over here real quick. What we're looking for is social presence, and that is more easily established when nonverbal and vocal cues are present. Student perceptions are that audio and visual feedback is more personal and humanizing than just text. So let's prove that point in the event that you still doubt me. Here is some text from one of my videos that I did a few semesters ago for a marketing class where I give them feedback. So I'm going to now play the video for you that is at this exact quote, okay? So let's get that up and let's hit play. Uh-oh, it's playing on the wrong side. Let me get it over to you. Okay, and you don't need all this other stuff. Let me get exactly to where we are. I think it's like 1:15.
You need to be very selective and determine who your audience is, whether or not you need to be using you. In academic writing, you will not be using you, okay?
Okay, so let's stop there and get this out of your way. So how many emojis? I can think of at least two that I would have needed to put in the text alone to make sure that there was a conversational tone, number one, and that it also was a softer softer feedback, and that's what we're looking for, is that humanizing factor. And that all came from the fact that you could see my face and hear my tone of voice. When we just send text, we have no control over how that person is reading it inside their head. You know, don't they always say there's no sarcasm in a text message? So there you go. And one more thing to prove my point is that I don't want you to take my word for it. There is a concept that is called picture superiority effect. I'm talking too fast. Whereas then that means if I just send words on day one, by day three, the 90% of the communication will have been lost, versus if I include pictures and, more importantly, videos, in those 3 days, you or your students are going to retain at least 65% of the message, okay? So there is my argument for putting your face into your videos. And so let's go ahead and get into that. You just need, I make that sound so easy, you need 3 things to make a quality video, and that is equipment, software, and time. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's start talking about equipment. It's one of my favorite things to talk about, because the first thing is, for me, the number one piece of equipment is good lighting. This is a screenshot from one of my first videos shot in this room. I have a west facing window. And you can tell that I am actually oriented this way in this screenshot. So the light is coming in onto my right side. It is unfiltered natural daylight, which is a free option to have, but you can tell the way my camera is picking it up, it's picking it up quite harshly. And it's not the fact that it's bad lighting, it's just the way the camera is interpreting it. So what I would recommend is not only using natural light, but see if, now I happen to have white blinds on these exact same windows now, and the sun is going down, so I'm also going to have to rely on some artificial light. What I'm using right now is an LED light panel that I got off of Amazon, and it was $49. It's currently, this will become your new best friend when doing videos. It is currently taped to my desk with a selfie stick and some Gorilla Tape. So it doesn't have to be classy, it just needs to work. So, and you'll find that a lot of my things are homemade because everybody's looking at the bottom line. And I used to be a public school teacher where I had to buy all of my supplies anyway. So there is LED lighting. LED lights will let you, or this light panel will let me control the temperature. This is me controlling the temperature. It will also let me control the brightness. I prefer, and I think all videoing should be done with the light coming towards your face, not off to the side like this one is. I happen to feel that if I don't like the way I look in a video, then I'm going to be more and more reluctant to do videos with my face in them. So I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure I feel comfortable. There is also another thing you could use for lighting, which is called a light box. Yes, you could use a naked bulb and have it next to you, but it is incredibly harsh, and it creates the same type of light feedback for your camera as what's happening here. So the next thing I'm gonna, and light boxes or LED lights are available at Amazon. I would push you there first. There are also some other companies like Adorama.com, which is a camera internet store that have good quality lights as well. You don't even need a good quality light. Jet.com, as long as you make sure that your light is considered a continuous video light. I don't know why I did that, but you don't want the flash light of photography. What you want is a continuously on light. Okay, so the next thing,
so
yes.
We have one individual, Teresa, says she has a ring light. So I don't know if you know what that
Oh
is.
my gosh, Teresa, use your ring light.
And Miss Christy Storms, I wanted to know, would a lighted makeup mirror work?
It would, as long as I feel strongly about this, that the light is coming coming from an up position down, but that is because I have really significant wrinkles here and here. So figure out what you like best, and do a couple of maybe demonstration for yourself practice videos, and you're going to hear the word practice overused in this presentation. Ring light, oh my gosh, I would love to have a ring light. For those of you that don't know, whenever you watch really good YouTube videos and they literally have a ring of light in their eyes, that's where that's coming from. That's like that's the holy grail of lighting. So well done you, I think, Teresa. So the next thing that we want to talk about is your camera. And so I'm using a webcam. This is a Logitech HD webcam C615. This is a screenshot from Best Buy this morning, so $39. Normally I would push you to Amazon, but Amazon is price gouging. This camera, there's only one available, or as of this morning, for $170. Exact same camera, that's crazy talk. The reason why I would push Logitech on you, and I feel like I'm yelling, I'm sorry, is just because I recognize the brand. If you can't pronounce the brand name, then it's likely that, I don't know what kind of quality you're getting. Logitech is a good standard digital camera maker. And so this is the one that I'm currently using. I like this one because it pans left and it pans right. So like I can avoid the wreckage of my personal desk that's over here without having to actually move the camera. Okay, so after cameras, the next thing we need to talk about is how to stabilize your camera. Right now, my webcam is propped up on, I don't know why I'm gesturing to you, propped up on my monitor, which is keeping it nice and stable unless I jiggle my table. You can see that it's not meant to be what I call an action camera. Oh, that's another thing we need to talk about is action cameras. You are, because most of us are FCS teachers, I think in this audience, you may need what I would call an action camera, something that takes you away from your desk or allows you to step away from your desk. A webcam that plugs into your computer is strictly for you to use at your computer. It only has a range of about 4 feet, whereas your mobile, this is a GoPro. I like it because it's one button on off, and I can set it up wherever I need to. It is on a Joby Gorilla tripod, which is articulated, meaning I could hook this on something if I wanted to do a cooking demonstration or something cool where I want the camera to look down, but it still keeps it stable and steady. You also, when we're talking about tripods, we can also talk about using your phone as your action camera. A lot of us need to walk away from our desks to do some of the classes and lessons that we need to do. So find a good tripod, and I will show you some of my homemade versions. Again, this is
Mara,
amazing.
on a
Yes.
camera, if you, what about a Nikon camera? I'm assuming that's a Nikon digital camera.
Yes, and we're going to talk about free video editing software in just a few slides. So yes, anything that you can use to capture your video and download it, and as long as you understand how to download from whatever you're using onto your desktop to then upload into your video editing software is a go. So yes, definitely. The next thing that I did it again. The next thing I want to talk about is a microphone. The director of media and communications at Texas Tech, when he and I were talking about this presentation, and he absolutely went bonkers because his #1 rule is regardless of the quality of your camera, regardless of the editing expertise that you have, the most important thing for you to consider when you're shooting a video is the quality of your audio. So he is completely adamant that I tell you, do not rely on the microphone that's embedded into your camera, even though the Logitech one's pretty good. He is the reason why I use a Blue Yeti, and this one is called a Nano. It's about $99. And this is actually the way you do it. You don't point it towards you. So if you aren't willing or able to invest, or your school's not able to invest $99, I saw Amy, I think I saw you putting on your earbuds. And so if you have these, and I think Amy's were even cordless. A lot of your earbuds, oh, I should have showed you this. I don't think you can see it. There's a little teeny tiny icon that is a microphone. So, and one of my coworkers uses her earbuds this way whenever we have Zoom meetings, where she puts on her headphones, and then it also has her mic ready to go. I don't use this because I'm a super freak about the way you can already tell, about the way I look in videos. I mean, I have a light kit. I don't like this look. Plus, I feel like I'm always messing with it and trying to keep the earbuds in my ears. And I think I have these in backwards. And I feel like this rustles against whatever clothing I'm wearing. So if you have the wireless ones, yes, that is an A1 solution. As a last resort, use the microphone that comes with your webcam, okay? Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about, and I know this sounds crazy, is a teleprompter. But yes, you need to think about how once you get involved into your video and you're in the thick of it, and you might need some help because you get excited or you get nervous, because the minute you see that 3, 2, 1 countdown go on your video recording device, it's on and the nerves kick in. So I actually have a teleprompter with the reflective glass, and that the camera, and actually I use this webcam, So then my words are scrolling across that reflective glass, but my eye contact, remember that social presence, that whole emotional and tone thing is happening because then I'm making eye contact with my camera and I'm not flicking my eyes down to look at other things. Now, since my teleprompter is being held hostage at Texas Tech, and I can't believe I forgot to not pack it, or I forgot to pack it. The teleprompter that I'm using now is the presenter mode of my PowerPoint, because that's the tool I like to use. So really what I have is I have squunched up the notes section in the teleprompter, in the presenter mode, to where it's almost at eye level with my camera. And having your camera at eye level means that you're more apt to look directly into the camera, which again communicates that humanizing factor. And we will look at some mistakes in not having good eye contact. So we've talked about the equipment that I think you need. The teleprompter may be pushing it. It just depends on your comfort level and your budget. So let's talk about software. Now, what software or recording app you decide on depends strictly on you and how you want to use it. Do you need a software that, like what somebody asked for about their Nikon, do you need the software that will let you take video from many different places and string it all together? Or are you more like me, where you just need a screen recording device? That's going to be dependent on you and your usage and how you want to do videos. It also depends on the budget that you have. I have a tendency to lean towards free software because free software is usually the most user-friendly. And I'll give you some examples of that. So the bottom line is I can't tell you which software to use, which I think is a little bit of a cop-out answer because there are many different options for you to think about, but it's because you need to decide how you need to use the software, okay? What I want to do next is help you narrow that focus down by showing you the differences. Okay, so first of all, here is a free software. This is on your shopping list. This is called Shotcut. And just it literally brings different shots together. But you'll notice there's some key terms here that you need to start to become familiar with. This is a video editor, meaning this would be if I'm going to do demonstration videos and I'm going to use my camera as my phone is my camera, that's what I'm trying to say, then this is what I need a video editor, something that will let me upload these different videos from these different sources and lets me put them together into one cohesive video. You'll also need to be familiar, oh man, sorry about that, let me go back. Oh, what's happening? There we go. You'll also need to be familiar with the term open source because it's going to depend on how your school is directing you to get these videos to your students. Open source means that it's going to work with a variety of LMSs, learning management systems, like Canvas, Blackboard. If it's open source, that means that the coding in it is going to be compatible with whatever platform, like Schoology, that your school may be requiring you to use. So that is video editing software. So you'll need to be careful about what you get sucked into. This is a screenshot from Camtasia, which is an expensive, in my head, anything over $99 is expensive. But look at what you get. You get mini tracks, and that's what these things are called. You can have background music going while you're talking. You can even clip in separate audio from other sources. And you can tell that this has a 3-track, and this is very basic. This is one of their examples of having 3 different videos that are merging and fading in and out. It's very, very high tech. I used Camtasia for about a year, and I decided I was not willing to invest the amount of time it was taking for me to overcome this learning curve. Now, if this is your jam, go for it. This was too complicated for me. So let me show you what I think you should do. And if you are just looking for a screen recording software that then will let you put in a video here and there. You need to check out this YouTube, and this is something new that I came across today. And it's the top 5 best free screen recording software. And the keyword here for me was free, because free 9 times out of 10 means easy to use. Okay, they mean for it to be easy to use. So let me show you what I'm talking about when I say easy to use. This is my current favorite. This has been a favorite of mine for the past 3 years. So I feel like it's a stable company, and I feel comfortable recommending it to you. This is called Screencast-O-Matic. The base version is free. And of course, you can go pro for $20, and if not more. And what this one will do is it will record your screen, your webcam, or both. And so that's what you saw in that first video that we looked at as an example, was the screen was on one side, and then a smaller box was the talking head, was the emotional part, was the webcam. You can do one or the other. And just to show you how this works, this dotted line that you see around with all these pullouts, that is so you can resize the recording area. Like, I don't like to have my toolbar at the bottom with the date and the time, and if I get any email alerts that populates for me on my toolbar, I make sure that is taken out of the recording area. But that is just going to record your screen and your webcam. So if you're the type of person that you also need to do a demonstrator video, you may actually have to become expert at 2 different softwares. One that is a video editor and one that is a screen recorder. Here's my piece of advice. Do not play with or practice with more than one new piece of software at a time. And I know you may be feeling pressured that time is of the essence, but give yourself that 30-day free trial, or I think there's one software that gives you 14 days. Take that time to just play with that one. You will decide, I would tell you, within 3 or 4 sessions with that software whether or not you like it. And if you don't like it, abandon it, because there is something else out there that's better or more user-friendly for you. Okay, so that part of that sounded really lectury. If you are a Mac user, you are sitting pretty already, because you already have installed on your Mac iMovie. So that's something that Apple provides. It's a very powerful I think it's a video editor, and I believe it has some screen recording capabilities. You'll notice that it has 2 tracks, whereas Camtasia had multiple tracks. This one has oh, that burn it. I apologize. My mouse is overly sensitive. It has the video portion and then the audio. So you can do some really powerful things with this perfectly free piece of software. So if you're a Mac user, good for you. You're ready to go. Make friends with this and start producing some really good videos. Okay, so let's see the next thing. As you are playing with your software and deciding which one is for you and where your comfort level is with the software that you're choosing, you need to find out from your school, where will your videos live? All videos get saved as an MP4 format, and some of these videos, the file size can be huge. Do not think that you're going to email these to your students. It is best for you to have a place to warehouse them and store them where your students can easily access them. Your first option is the one that even Texas Tech uses, is your learning management system, your LMS, and or your school server. Texas Tech has a video repository where it is password protected. Only students have access to those videos, and that is the preferred method for our school. What happens with your school depends on your IT department, depends on your policies. The next option that you have, don't despair if you're thinking, I don't know what my school does, because I wouldn't know either. That might be a conversation either with your IT or with your administrators. The next most secure and stable place to keep your videos is YouTube. This means for those of you that do not have a YouTube account, you will have to go through the process of setting up a YouTube account. It is for free. I have the base version. You are welcome to search me on YouTube and watch all my grammar videos. There's also a ballet dancer named Mara Driscoll. That is not me. But YouTube is easily accessible by your students. It is a very, very stable platform. I've never seen YouTube go down. And it also has a closed captioning feature that we will talk about in a few minutes. And I'm really going to keep it on the time. The last thing that you have is the app itself. I know that Screencast-O-Matic, almost all the apps that you use to edit your videos or even to create videos will, for a price, let you house your finished and publishable videos on their web storage. This again might be a little problematic for your students to access, but that is always an option. Okay, so decide and find out from your school where your videos are going to live. Then also you can always keep them on your desktop. So they will be stored on your desktop as an MP4 for you to upload into whatever delivery system you're using for your students. See, I almost forgot that one. I'm glad that was there. Now, the third thing we said, we've talked about equipment, we've talked about software, and now let's talk about the time investment. And there are some things that I'm going to tell you that I really mean, because it sounds like a big old time waste at the start, but it really will pay off at the end, and that's where we need it to pay off. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is, I know some of you are rolling your eyes saying, a storyboard and script, I don't have time for this. Yes, you do, because nothing is more time consuming than getting through your 5 to 7 minute video, which is the sweet spot of where you need to be looking for your videos to be lengthwise. You need to be, nothing is more demoralizing, let me finish that thought, than getting to do that same video over and over and over, because you're not using either a storyboard or a script, and you got in the middle and you got into a tangle. So just to show you what it's like to not have a script or to have used a storyboard, and it's still populating over here, is the fact that, let me move this over to where you need to see it. It's not as embarrassing as I thought.
Our landing pages we already discussed.
There was an
Mara?
Yes.
You need to stop, and you need to change the sharing of your screen.
Oh.
So
Share.
Yeah, so at the bottom, when you go on share screen, just click on that, and then it'll pop up, and it'll allow you to share the screen where your video is playing.
How's that?
There you go.
Now you can see it. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, upgrades, I love them. Okay, so you missed one now.
As a matter of fact, the entire menu is always here on the left. Next, let me point out that you have access to the syllabus and the course schedule should you need them. I know I emailed them to you already before the course started, but they're always here as well.
Okay, so you can tell in this video, I did have a storyboard. I have animations on my screen. I'm very targeted about what I'm going to talk about next, but the means that I did not use a script. And so that is the problem when you don't use a script. Now, I am not an artist by any stretch of the imagination. So that was a good freeze frame. So my storyboards were turning into all text. So what I did was combine them with a script, and let me show you what that means. And so Dr. Alexander, help me if I screw this up. Are we back to the PowerPoint presentation? Uh-oh, did I lose her?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I was just on mute. Go back to share your screen. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, you have to change it in
every single
Zoom.
time. Okay, good to know.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so there we go. Okay. So I will show you what my script has morphed into, so that way you have an idea of exactly what I'm talking about. So I technically don't do storyboards anymore. I do a quirky, weird looking script. So let me sorry, I'm having to look away from you, and I hate that. the umming in a controlled environment should not be happening, is what is my point. So we need to practice, practice, practice with our scripts before we ever hit play, and you also, or record, and you also need to be okay with the fact that you may have to stop and start. The screen recording equipment or the recording equipment that, or software that I like to use lets me pause. That's always an option, is to pause. So then the next thing is there is a learning curve to this. If this is your first foray into instructional videos, and maybe you're TikToking, maybe you're doing social media videos, and that's fabulous. This is a different concept altogether, and we're going to talk about what an instructional video is. But there is a learning curve, and you need to cut yourself some slack right now, because the fact that you're even willing to try is an amazing thing, and pat yourself on the back, because this is wonderful. So storyboard and or script, yes. Practice, of course, and then learning curve, indubitably, it's unavoidable. Cut yourself some slack. Okay, so there's my little encouragement for today. This is what my scripts look like, and yes, I really do these. And there is a procedure that it's a 4-step procedure. You can see the 4 steps, but let's go through them, because it really will help make your videos sustainable. And what I mean by sustainable is instead of doing a different video for first period, second period, third period, 5th, 6th, and 7th, instead of doing 6 videos, if 3 of these classes are covering the same topic, let's shoot 1 good quality video and use it for those 3 classes. So we're looking for sustainability. You'll notice it, or maybe if you didn't pick up on this, on those example videos, and I'll show you some more, sadly, where I labeled them 4341 Writing Wrap Up. Okay, that is the worst title ever. Do not title your things such a general title. Be very specific in the way you title them. And that goes back to deciding who is my audience. I know you're thinking inside your head, well, my audience are my students. No, your audience is the person who needs to watch this video. That might be your first 3 periods, and maybe even a freshman class that comes in the afternoon, because the topic is the same that they're covering. So let's look at my script. Instead of saying hello 4341, because let's be honest, APA citations don't change, or they don't change enough that I need to reshoot this video for every single class. So instead of saying hello 4341, I may not be teaching 4341 next semester. So why not keep this video as sustainable as possible by just saying hello? So then the next part is, let's talk APA internal citations. That is perfect. Here's the storyboard part, is where the action is, this camera is just on my face, because I believe in social presence. And so I want the students to see me and see that I'm cheerful about this, and I'm ready to go, and I'm enthusiastic. So then we move into the next part of my script. And what I like about this is it tells me, actually, like if you look at step 3, it tells me that I need to click the slide to show some of the animations that I have developed. So number 1, let's talk about your audience. Number 2, pick 1 topic. I don't know if you have noticed that I've used 2 videos so far to show some examples, and there are 2 topics involved in that video with the terrible name of Writing Wrap Up. One is using Understood You, and the second one is APA citations. This is problematic, because if I have a student who has watched this video and then responds to me and says, no, wait, where can I find the APA citation part again? Because I've maybe gotten onto them saying, you need to go back and watch the APA part. Well, now I have to go, as a responsible educator, I have to go and watch that video and find the timestamp. Instead of separating that video into 2 very short, very targeted videos, I've now created a little bit of a tangle where I'm responsible for telling the student where to go to watch it. Okay, that's if I even remember which video covered these 2 topics. Okay, so just pick 1. If you have something like quick breads and you need to have multiple parts because you don't want to go over 10 minutes, which is still pretty long for a video. Then have quick breads 1, quick breads 2, or name it something that is reasonable and that your students are going to get and that you're going to get later, okay? One of the important parts of an instructional video is the fact that we want to show and tell. We don't want to read the assignment to them, and we don't want to read the slides to them if that's what you're using. If you're doing a presentation first and then a demonstration later, do not read these slides to your students. I will show you an example of how awful and mind-numbing it is. The deal is we want to show examples of what we're talking about, and we want to explain what is happening on the screen. But I do not need to read this to you, nor do you need to read it to your students. And again, step 4 is practice, practice, practice. Okay, so let's talk about practicing. This is a studio at Texas Tech. Oh, here is a picture. Yay, I'm glad we're doing this. Here's a picture of what a light box is. Okay, it's a light bulb with reflective sides, but then a soft matte cover to blur out that light so it's not so harsh. This is the fabulousness that we, our instructors at Texas Tech, could use, but we're not there anymore. But even in a professional studio setting, we can still make mistakes. Lighting can be tricky. This was one of my first videos that I ever shot, and you'll notice that under the studio lighting, this slightly see-through blouse became incredibly see-through. I had the most viewings of this video that I've ever had, which is embarrassing with college seniors. But then also lighting can be tricky, because if you don't use the proper lighting, this is also in a more professional setting. This is not at home. There is a light source here off to the left, and there's a really good light source, but it's backlighting. And so this poor professor is trying to communicate with his students, but it's so dark, it's miserable to watch, and he's using a webcam that's way too far away, and so it's blurry. If he hadn't been using the recording the screen as well as the webcam feature, we would not have known that information from his presentation. So do not feel discouraged that you're having to do this from home. This is what an instructional in video is, and hopefully what it is not. So first of all, this was shot professionally, and the lighting is spot on. I think the camera placement is not so great, because this person is using a laptop. They're using the camera that's in the top of their laptop, but the laptop is at desk level. And so we're getting this down up shot instead of an eye level. So stack books, do whatever you have to do to get your camera to your eye level. And now I do want to play a portion of this video for you so that you can experience what an instructional video, the good parts and the bad parts, because there are some good things happening in this video. There are some things that I hope you never do in this video. You'll notice that it's 10 minutes long. I think that this is far too long for this to be. This is an introductory video, and that is far too long. If you are doing videos that are going over 10 minutes, you need to rethink what's happening in your video. So let's do this really quickly. Now this person happens to have, oh, dead burn. I need to, I'm doing a new share. Wait a second, here we go. Okay. Before we continue, I want you to know that this particular individual has a physical impairment that makes his voice really scratchy. So that is an important reason, another important reason why you might want to consider I shouldn't have said it like that, why closed captioning is important. And we're going to talk about the importance of closed captioning. Yes,
Mara, we're still seeing the presentation.
Dad, burn it. Oh, because I didn't tell it all the way. Okay, how's that?
There we go.
Okay, so here we go. So the good things that happened, the music that you heard was an intro. A lot of instructional designers will tell you you do need to have an introduction slide that tells the student what they've gotten into. And I like that part. There's also a part where it identifies who the speaker is. So we're going to play this.
Welcome to room 3320 Facilities Management. This is our Unit 0, where we will talk about how this course will be conducted and the requirements of the course. We'll start with an introduction. My name is John Edwards. I'm the instructor for this course.
Okay, this person has taught this course many times, but this is the first time in front of a camera. So the nerves took over. He introduced himself twice, and then I'm going to speed through this. What he's doing is he's going through his syllabus. And sadly, he reads it line by line by line. That is not an instructional video. That is, I don't know what that's called. So, but let me just prove it to you.
The hospitality industry and to society. And the course description is management principles and practices and the social, multicultural, and environmental dimensions of issues.
He literally is reading it line by line. He does this for 10 minutes.
Academic integrity will be regarded as a serious.
If you notice this cursor, he's literally following along. Okay, I'm not going to torture you anymore with that. So please do not read your PowerPoint slides to them. Do not read the assignment to your students. Let's always remember that this is supposed to be a short instructional video, and short is important because we always want to keep your students' interest. We wanted to keep their interest in class. That same policy applies with our videos. So having learned from being this person's TA and learning from the mistakes, an instructional video, like we said before on the script slide, it means showing and telling. So this is, oh man, I wasn't expecting to have to keep doing this. I'm so sorry.
Citations. Let's talk about internal citations first. And the best way to do that is to show you an example of some classwork. So here we have.
Okay, pay attention if we look back at the slide, there are literally 3 words. Technically 3 words on the slide. If you have more than 25 words on the slide, that is such a temptation to read that for your audience that I would say really cut that down to where the onus is on you to explain and to tell what's going on.
Internal citations first. And the best way to do that is to show you an example of some classwork.
There's the
So here we have a quote.
Okay, so that's what we want to focus on is showing and telling what we mean. And oh my goodness, so then I use animation, but that's my teaching style. So let's go back to the normal PowerPoint slide. I'm getting a little bit better at this. There we go. Again, options, so powerful. So showing and telling, not reading to them. Again, let's talk about practice. And yes, you do need to practice setting up, and I'm trying to keep it on the time. You do need to practice how you set up your equipment. This is a friend of mine who owns a small law firm in Lubbock, and so he has access to his conference room where he set up a little mini studio. Here is his light box. Here is his microphone. And he didn't want to invest in a camera. So he likes using his laptop because then, of course, then everything's still on his laptop for him to then edit. But you'll notice that to get the laptop camera up to eye level, he's put it on his conference table and balanced his laptop on a trash can. So it doesn't have to be pretty, it just needs to work. And this is my personal setup at the office at Texas Tech. You'll notice so that I can have my eyes at eye level with my notes on the presenter view of PowerPoint, I have put on top of my computer a travel mug and the box that my business cards came in. And this is actually the camera that I'm using right now. So that's the deal is whatever works. Again, I have oftentimes taped things to the wall. So the deal is you need to practice not only with your equipment, you need to practice with your software, you need to practice with your script. So you've got a lot of things, you've got a lot of investment. Now, that leads me to we're coming near to the end. And I'm trying to hurry. Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 says that any video that we put out there on the internet has to be closed captioned. That came into full effect. We had some lag time there, but it came into full effect January of 2018. What that means is, especially if you have already identified hard of hearing or deaf students in your class, you must close caption your videos to a minimum of 95% accuracy. That means 95% or better, that the words that are, or the sounds even, like if Clark the dog started barking, I would need to put dog barking in brackets. You must have 95% or better of those words that you say in a closed caption, and you saw it go across Mr. Edwards's video. That also helps the hearing students, but then especially when there's an issue like what he had. But then also the words, your closed captioning has to be synchronized with what's happening on the screen. Okay.
So Mara, we have 2 questions. How
Yes.
do you close caption?
Perfect question. We're going to segue right into that. Oh my gosh, perfect. My number 1 closed captioning tool is YouTube. So I have a finished video. I'm ready to publish it onto my YouTube channel. I upload it, and in the editing portion of where you upload, you can close caption right there. Now, I just have the basic version of YouTube. So I have to literally type. This is where your script comes in, because if you use your script and you follow it pretty closely, you can copy and paste from your script into the YouTube closed caption feature. Now, if you up-level your account with YouTube, they have a speech-to-text version that actually listens to what you say, and it closed captions it for you, but you're also then still allowed to go in and make tweaks and edits, because oftentimes we either talk so fast or my West Texas twang is such that the speech to text feature misses some words. If that is not going to work for you in your school, there is a software program that we use here at Texas Tech that anyone can use. It's called Movie Captioner. It's by a company called Syncromedia. I had to look down and see the title. The first 14-day trial is free. This is where you literally could upload your script into Movie Captioner, and you also have to give it access to your video, your MP4 file, and then it will timestamp, and you can literally place your script in the slots for those timestamps of where things are happening in your video. It does cost $50 after the 14-day trial. I checked that again today just to make sure I wasn't giving you outdated information, but it's $50 for life. And they actually do periodic updates of their software. So, sorry, I heard something happening outside. There are third-party providers. If you already have some identified hard of hearing or deaf students in your class, and that you need to have these closed captionings happening rapidly, 3Play Media is what I would recommend that you use. That is their job. Also, Rev.com is doing a very good job at taking your video. You send it to them, and they have instructions for you, don't panic. And they upload your video, they close caption it for you, and they send it back to you. Of course, you're paying, not a hefty price, but you're paying additional money to have somebody else close caption your videos. So that being said, let's sum up. And there's one thing on here I didn't mention, and there's at least one YouTuber I would love for you to go and watch to see their attitude and the way they present themselves on their YouTube channel, and it's called the Small Things Blog. Small Things Blog. She's a hairdresser, and it's amazing to see her facial expressions and I'll show you that in just a second what I mean by that. So let's sum up. You have the 3 things that you need: equipment, software, and right now it seems like a huge investment in time. It will get better, I promise. You need to use a storyboard that may morph into your script, but please use a script. You need to practice. You need to smile. And the reason why I say that is because let me say those same words to you with my normal expression that I could use in a face-to-face conversation, but it looks terrible. Let's sum up. You have the three things: equipment, software, and time. And I know it seems like you're spending a lot of time up front. Do you see how sad I look? Whereas if I just put a little bit of a smile in this, it's completely different. Now I look like I'm engaged and I'm excited about what I'm talking about. And all it did was, I'm not even really smiling, but do you see the difference? Okay. So, and then video storage and sustainability. And I do a lot of pointing, and I'm sorry for that. Your video storage, where your video is going to live, and then trying to make your videos as sustainable as possible. If we're going to invest this much time and effort into creating a video, please make sure that you're not wasting that time and that these are videos that you can use multiple times. And then I think I have one last thing: accessibility. Pay attention. If this is your first foray into instructional videos, go ahead and get in the habit now of closed captioning these videos. You may not have a deaf or hard of hearing student this semester, but you might get one next. And why not have videos that are ready to go? Okay. So remember, this is your first time. Give yourself a break. It's gonna take some time, and you need to be good to yourself. Okay. Additional resources. Wow, did you see how that really flashed and it got brighter? Additional resources for some online learning is the Curriculum Center for Family and Consumer Sciences. We have some free resources for you to use. Not all of them are strictly for online. Some of them are just for you to use, like rubrics. I also would like to push you towards websites like Digital Promise. This particular link, their online learning resources, is a huge laundry list of appropriate online resources and apps that keep in mind the student's privacy, the FERPA laws, and that they're appropriate. That's what Digital Promise does. It's a consortium of educators that's what they're doing, is they're looking at these different apps there's thousands out there for teachers to use, but making sure that they're appropriate for our students and keeping their information private. And then the next thing is, I would like to let you know that these webinars have already happened. We're on Tuesday, the 7th of April, but we have a live binder not tutorial, yeah, I guess so, a webinar coming up by Professor Jinsi Hui, who is also here at Texas Tech. And if you haven't seen the live binder in action, this is one you will not want to miss. So, is there anything? Oh, we do have a two-question thing, and Dr. Alexander, correct me if I'm saying any of this wrong. Please answer these two questions. You can use your phone, your QR thing to scan this, and this will send you to a questionnaire that just has two questions in it, and it's so that you have a say in what we do next. And Dr. Alexander has made sure that we're staying very nimble and responsive. And we would like to do webinars that you want to do. And oh my goodness, I'm right at the hour mark. I'm so sorry. Dr. Alexander, to you.
That's okay. That's perfect. So Mara, I did have a question, and I wanted you to confirm. The question was about video upload and the time that it's taking to get it into the classroom. And my recommendation was to use a video provider like YouTube and load the video into YouTube, and then you get a link, which then allows the link to be embedded into whatever LMS or, for instance, Google Classroom, and you're not spending time with the video upload. Is that what you would suggest?
That is what I would suggest. In fact, some of your LMSs will have a mashup tool, and that's literally what it's called, is a mashup tool, where it will embed a tiny picture thumbnail of your video into your LMS, if that's a feature that you have. But that the link option is by far and away the easiest and most responsive and stable way to get your students from your LMS or whatever your delivery system is into that YouTube video.
Can you put the QR code up, please?
Sure.
We've had a request for that.
Yes.
Thank you. And so another question is, what is a live binder? This is an excellent question. And tomorrow, if you join us, you will find out. But essentially, a live binder is a digital notebook. Many of you grew up in the days like I did of the big 3-ring binder. And what a live binder allows you to do is have an interactive digital notebook that you can catalog, organize content, you can embed videos, you can connect to web links, etc. There are thousands and thousands of live binders that are out there. Many of them are free to look at. We have a couple on the Curriculum Center's website. I am going to provide a link to one of them regarding WeVideo. This last summer, I did a workshop using WeVideo and did the whole editing process. And as a part of that, with my students, we put together a live binder of resources that even has some teaching materials in it, but it has some of the videos we created as well as some of the instructional tools. That'll be one of the things that we'll send you out with this information on this webinar. But I do think that Jency Hui is going to be talking a little bit more about she's actually going to provide a link to that WeVideo live binder as well. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Can you copy it and put it in the chat so we can click on it? Are you talking about the WeVideo live binder? I'm assuming I can certainly do that. So let me get out of here and no.
You mean the link?
I'm talking about the 2-question link.
Oh, yes, Mara, can you copy that tiny URL, highlight that, copy that, and put it in the chat, please?
Oh, eek. Yes. I think it's gonna make me, it won't let me copy it from the show. Let me do this. I'll get there eventually. Hang on just a second. Oh, it's at the very end. Talk amongst yourselves.
So a couple people just reiterated the need for the storyboard script, one topic per short video for multiple purposes. And we've got a couple of new messages that have come in.
At the very bottom, at the timestamp at 8:01 is the link for that.
Right, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. That was a good one.
And then any tips or things we should look out for to be successful for having videos on YouTube? The one thing that I would say is be mindful of students in your videos. If you are going to have your students involved, then I would limit the access. You can actually make things visible only with a link, or you can make it private where you're only sharing a video with certain people. And then of course you have the ability to make a video public. I have all 3 of those on my YouTube channel, and I signed up for a YouTube channel. It was free, and I have been using it periodically for the last couple of years to collect videos that I want to show my students from YouTube, but also the videos that I've been making and even these webinar videos. So when you produce a video on YouTube, it does ask you, is the content geared for children? And if you say yes, then there are certain parameters that you have to say that you're meeting. And then obviously if it's for an adult audience, then you just click no, and then it will go right to the processing of your video. But when you upload a video to YouTube, it's very fast in terms of that time to process it and get you that link. And that really is the best way for you to be distributing your videos. Okay, yes, and we have been recording this session. So just a reminder, you will be getting a recording, an edited recording. In fact, I use WeVideo to actually edit the recordings of the webinars so that we have not as much lost time. And I can even edit out some of the ums sometimes, like Mark was talking about. I have found myself doing that as well. And then we also will be sending you your certificate of attendance, and that is for 1 hour of contact. And then we will also provide the handout that was sent out this morning in case you registered this afternoon and didn't get that. And then I will put on as well the link to the live binder for WeVideo if it's not on there. And then we've got a couple of other things that we are seeing here. Love the sustainability focus you shared. Hope my videos will be relevant. Watched the Pear Deck webinar last night, so useful. Well, thank you for that. We're glad that you're watching those webinars, and we are just happy to help and be here for you. So please keep us all aware of what you're doing and what your needs are. If you think of something later and you want to add it into that questionnaire, you can, or you can always email us directly at the Curriculum Center's website, and that's just ccfcs@ttu.edu. And so I'm going to put that here in the chat, and that's TTU for Texas Tech University. Mara, any parting words?
I am emailing or texting or chatting with Ms. Brewington privately, because I think that the way it's popping, I'm missing your actual question. So my email is at the beginning, but it's mara.driscoll@ttu.edu. So feel free, or connect with us via that ccfcs@ttu.edu, and let's talk more privately.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all are doing a fabulous job. Well done, everybody. I'm just so thrilled that you're embracing this. So good luck, and let us know how we can help.
And every time you do a video, it will improve, I promise.
Yeah.
And you will become more familiar with the software, and you will become a pro, and you'll find that videos are going to make your teaching much stronger even when you're back into the face-to-face environment. So this is the time to embrace the technology and really love it. So thank you all for attending. We really appreciate you, and stay well and healthy, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.